Thanks for joining me, Kyle.
You're welcome.
Always nice to have you for the weekend,
Yep.
especially Father's Day weekend.
Yep.
Good. So, Kyle, what do you do to simply be well?
So I've been thinking about my response to this question because now I've watched a few of your videos. I watched Justin's, Haley's, and I saw Dad's before you deleted it. So I've been thinking a little.
Okay.
And I think my two things that I do in general are like forming habits and then also finding ways to make it a treat, like treat myself a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, why don't we start with, let's say, morning and work our way through?
Okay.
All right.
So, like, as in, what do I do in the morning
Yeah.
usually? Okay. So in the morning, recently I've been trying to get in a good walk in the morning to start with. So at least a mile. So 20 minutes or so. Try to be outside and moving first thing in the morning.
Before or after coffee?
Before usually.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's going well, but sometimes I do like to just sit on the couch first thing in the morning just to relax a little bit. It helps me to get up out of bed if I know that I'm just getting up to go sit on the couch. Because sometimes it's hard to get out of bed for me. And so I like a slow morning like you and Haley. And so I like waking up to go for a walk, but particularly if it's not nice weather, I like to sit on the couch first thing in the morning.
Well, it's funny because I think, the half the family is, and you're kind of fluctuating in between the two halves, one half being me, liking to ease into the day, sitting on the couch with coffee, and your father wants to get right out the door.
Yep. Yeah.
So sounds like you're doing a little bit of both.
A little of both, I think. I know that I'll feel better if I do go for the walk.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would be better for me too to get up and start moving a little bit more, but I need to be close to a bathroom.
True. Well, that's if you have your coffee first.
Right.
If you skip the coffee, then maybe you
I don't think so. I don't think so because the first thing I have is water, and before I have coffee, so I don't know. That's my dilemma is that I need a potty nearby.
Okay.
So anyway, so moving on, I know you love your breakfast.
I do love breakfast, yeah. So, once I'm back from the walk, before I start work, maybe I'll check emails if I need to, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I do like to have a slow breakfast. I definitely prefer to eat breakfast before I start the workday instead of eating while I'm working. And I like to kind of have the same breakfast every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do favor breakfast foods also. So I just really like having breakfast.
So you love your eggs,
Love
your
eggs, toast. I used to love oatmeal every day too.
Yeah.
Still sometimes that. Usually some fruit, like a berry in the morning I like, and coffee.
Okay. And so anything else along the lines of food or movement that you want to
In the
share?
morning or in general?
Whatever. You choose.
Well, let me think. Like in terms of general, like being well, food and movement. So, I guess it's back to the thing I was saying about just habits. I definitely feel best when I'm in a routine and have habits that I know are good for me, things like that. So, we can talk about this later, but definitely having some kind of workout routine, walks for movement, and then even stretching, that helps too. And then food-wise, again, I feel best, and I've gone through ebbs and flows of this, but feel best when I have planned meals for the most part during the week. So the breakfast thing is pretty easy for me. Lunch is probably hardest because I'm working, and so it's hard for me to stop and eat lunch And if I don't have anything in the fridge that I know I'm gonna eat, then that's really tough for me. And that's when I start just grabbing at whatever because I'm starving. And so definitely habit forming of eating meals that I've put together that I know are a good portion, keep me satisfied, and are healthy for whatever reason. Trying to prioritize some protein during the day also, and then carbs for energy. So I think, yeah, just having planned, the oven's ready.
So the other thing we're doing today is we are cooking up some special things for Father's Day. So I'll call Kyle the patient chef, and maybe we'll
That's
have
me.
a little preview of what we're cooking up today. So I'm gonna hit pause while we put our peach crisp in the oven.
Fun. We're back.
Okay, we're back. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right, so where were we?
We were talking about food and building habits around food. So I do think if you know what you're eating, that definitely helps just keep you aligned. And then living in New York, it's hard sometimes to not want to go out to eat all the time. So Justin and I have been really trying to not do that as often and save it for more special occasions or seeing friends and things like that. So definitely trying to eat at home and know what the plan is for the meal. But that being said, I love cooking, and that's part of wellness for me too. So, and I also like grocery shopping and kind of determining what the meal is going to be. So usually it's like breakfast and lunch are planned. During the week, I try to have planned a meal prep for dinner as well. But then I get a little creative on the weekends, or if I have company over, or if I'm here, to kind of make something more fun. And
so
be flexible that way.
How many days in advance would you say that you plan out?
I usually go grocery shopping either over the weekend or Monday or Tuesday morning and get groceries for the week.
Wow.
But ideally for dinners, I would like to every other night kind of plan a new thing, but it's just not really the way it goes usually during the week, especially because I don't really cook like a meal every night for Justin and I. It's not really necessary to have like go shopping every day, but that's kind of how I like to eat, is like fresh food is my preferred style.
Yeah. Do you make enough that you have leftovers?
Usually, yeah.
That's
so for
helpful.
the meal prep, I usually don't make like meals prepped. It's like I'll make a pack of chicken that I have in the fridge for the week for lunch. And usually I'll make some kind of like dinner meal that I'll eat most of the nights. And usually there is a night or two that I go out to eat anyways. So kind of works out that way.
So I want to rewind to when you were in college. I noticed that you really changed your eating habits, and I'm curious, like, how did that even like come about?
Yeah, I don't really remember exactly, but I definitely got interested in nutrition as I got older. I kind of started watching like YouTube videos and stuff about it. And enjoyed learning about nutrition. So I think that was part of it. I always love recipes, so I like kind of trying ways to make things, stuff like that. And I guess maybe just being on my own to like need to make meals and plan for myself helped with that. I'm trying to think. There's
Did
like
your
a few other things.
international roommates have any influence on that?
I don't think so, really. No.
Okay.
No.
So, all right, anything else then on food that you want to share, or do you want to move into movement?
Well, I guess what I was just thinking about with why in college I got more interested in nutrition and stuff. I think when I was younger, like I was so busy with all the activities going on, and diet was not good because it was just get home late, eat something I could put together myself when I was younger, and or like whatever was there, or eat in between soccer, dance, whatever it was. And I hated bringing lunch to school, didn't have time to eat in the morning, so like everything was just bad.
Yeah.
Like while I was in high
It was
school.
a very unhealthy routine.
Yeah, and so I think being in college and not having all those things going on, and the school schedule of like being in school all day every day, like helped me to just, I don't know, have a better routine basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and that helped a lot.
All right. So I know that you, I mean, you've always been active. Obviously, we just said, dance and soccer, and now you really make it a big part of your life to not only work out yourself, but you're teaching. And
Yep. So, do you want me to talk about
Yes.
movement, I guess? Yeah, so I think habit forming for movement is really important, to just have some kind of routine for workouts. Knowing that it's good for me is motivating, but I kind of also treat working out as like a treat. Like I enjoy it, and I think just finding workouts that you actually enjoy is a big part of that, so that it doesn't feel like, oh no, I have to go work out. It's like, yay, I get to go work out. I'm happy to have this break in my day or whatever it is. And it feels, I think I choose workouts that feel kind of like zen, or I don't know, peaceful to me, I guess.
So like yoga, you mean?
Yoga, even like spin class, like just like kind of getting in a zone, breathing, Pilates, bar, stuff like that, where it's even, I guess, maybe just thinking about choreography sometimes gets me like focused on the workout. It's like the 45 minutes to an hour where I'm only thinking about that instead of like whatever else is going on. And so it's really a nice moment for me, instead of this thing that I'm like, I hate doing this. And I do think it took me a little while to figure that routine out too in college, honestly, because when I was doing all the activities, even though I did love them, like some things I didn't always love, like for soccer, for example, having to do like timed mile runs or sprints and drills and stuff like that. I'm totally uninterested in that. I hate it, honestly, and I just prefer to do workouts that are more just like mindful, mind and body connection, that kind of thing.
Do you still run at all? I know that you
A little bit,
have, but-
yeah. Mostly on the treadmill now, like after a
at the
gym
gym.
workout. But I still like running outside too, just to get outside. I think I've been doing more walks recently than runs, but still enjoy it. Yeah, I think I also am not very competitive as a person, and so competitive sports like soccer or like a timed run, so unmotivating to me. I'm like, I don't want to go as fast as I can and like be huffing and puffing. Like I want to push myself personally, but like I don't need to be the first one over the finish line. And so I think just finding workouts that are not this like competitive, stressful thing has been awakening for me as like an enjoyment factor.
Yeah, you know what's occurring to me that I haven't thought about in a long time is when I first got certified for Ayurveda, I had everybody in the family do these quizzes to find out what your dosha was. And that's a very pitta thing, is to do sports that are not competitive.
Yeah. And I think that's why I leaned eventually towards enjoying dance more, actually, is because I wasn't even in a competitive dance studio. It was all very social, like artistry, I guess you could say that. And like a creative outlet, and community service was involved, things like that were more enjoyable to me than like progressing in soccer. So
Okay. So what about, if there's nothing else then on, physical, maybe we talk a little bit about what you do for your mental health?
Yep. So I think I was gonna connect this one back to the like kind of treat thing that I was talking about earlier, where little things I do to relax, I guess, and de-stress, that's kind of my mental health break, because I can be very high stress, I think, as a person. So even though I'm not competitive, I put a lot of pressure on myself.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, so.
All your life.
Yeah, it's my whole life. Yeah, since kindergarten, day one, I had a migraine, and it never stopped. So I think anything I can do to like remove myself from that and just like really relax is what I like to do. So anything that's like feels like a little treat is very enjoyable to me and like really lowers that stress. So that might be cooking, it might be working out. I've always also loved like spa things too, so steam, a sauna, a massage, something like that, and just things that like make me like really chill out. Reading, yep. Any day where I feel like I'm just like really relaxed is good for my mental health, I think. But also the reading, I like to obviously keep my mind stimulated. And then I think that any workout I do, like I was saying before, that involves choreography or memorizing something, kind of helps with my mental health, like long term.
Yeah.
And I do think I have a pretty good memory overall. And so I think that that kind of workout that feels good but is
Exercises your mind,
yeah,
it sounds like. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that helps me too.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. And what about from a spiritual perspective? And before you answer, I just want to clarify that when I ask this, I'm not necessarily saying what are your religious beliefs, but like what, and we kind of already touched on this, but if there's anything more that you'd like to add in terms of lifting your spirit, what, however you'd like to answer that. Whatever that means to you. I don't want to define it necessarily.
I was thinking about this a little bit more as well. I think the workouts, like that Justin said this in his, like getting in the zone a little is can be a spiritual experience during a workout. And sometimes it sounds silly, but like during...
The crisp might be ready. Hang on.
So we were talking about being in the zone in a workout. And so again, it might feel silly to talk about it, but in a yoga class or even a spin class, sometimes when you're really like in it and thoughts come up during those things, I feel like it is a spiritual experience to really, it's like meditation kind of, to be that like connected with your mind and your body at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of a visual that I've had before is when mind and body connect, that's where spirit lives.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely working out kind of gives that to me. Not all workouts, to be fair. I'd say usually it's going to be like some kind of cardio thing going on. I think spin does it for me the most for that perspective, because there's some things to think about, but not too much. So you're kind of just there alone in the dark doing things. Yeah. And you can't really, if your mind wanders a bit, you can't like fall off. Whereas on a treadmill, you can't really like be too in the zone on the treadmill.
Yeah.
But also even bar sometimes, like, it feels like meditative, and any workout like bar, Pilates, yoga that connects breath to movement, I think is really important for my wellness and mental health.
Yeah. I can't say enough about breath work, and I mean, I've been practicing it for years now, but I'm taking a course now that I'm even learning more about, how critical it is to have that like mind-body connection, communication,
Yep.
two-way street.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's the thing that will, it's the simplest thing, but it's probably one of the most effective things that you can do to regulate your nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anything that makes you feel like connected to yourself and like whatever energy is you're giving yourself or putting out into the world is good.
So, I don't do this, but I'm wondering if you do. I don't usually remember to do this, but when, let's say that you're in a stressful situation, do you ever remember to take a few deep breaths?
Try to, yeah. Yeah, I definitely can do that. There's times that I don't do that for sure. I think like I said, can be like a ball of stress, so sometimes it's just can't really let it go, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
I find that it's, for me and probably for most people, that it's hard to remember to use these tools when you're in that high stress state.
Yeah.
But to your point, the first thing that you said is habit, and the more we practice and do it, then it does like become more of a habit to fall back on.
Yeah, definitely. So gotta try to remember to do it, but yeah. So I think in general, like bringing it back to just mental well-being, working out is a big part of that for me, as well as reading, stimulation, things like that. But also I find that being with friends or family and being around people is also good for my mental well-being. I'm not very introverted in that I feel energized after I'm with people, as long as it's the right people. I can definitely feel drained if it's the wrong people, then I'm tired. And I can be shy sometimes, but for the most part, I would say I'm pretty extroverted in that if I'm with people, like I feel super like energized and like my cup is full like after I see people or am with family and friends, and that's really good for my mental and spiritual well-being too, I think. Whereas I know a lot of other people kind of, even if they like being with other people, sometimes their spiritual well-being kind of rests on having alone time.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, everyone is different, and having that awareness of how much you need of what.
Yep.
And to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have definitely realized I don't need a lot of alone time. I like being alone sometimes, and I'm good at solo travel, being independent and doing things on my own. Like I'll go to a restaurant by myself or anything like that. But I feel more energized when I'm with other people.
That also makes me think about your love for travel and how that plays into your well-being.
Yeah, definitely love a travel. I love a vacation. I like to, I guess mental well-being fits into that because I like to learn about other places and kind of like explore, like piques a little something in me.
Yeah. I'm smelling crisp.
Smells good.
I think we should check it again.
Okay, all right. Pause.
So we're back. The crisp is out of the oven. We'll share with you a little bit later. But we were just saying that it's not too early or too late to maybe have some of this crisp before dinner, because something in our family that we love to do, it goes back to my mother and her sisters and my aunts. We used to do this all together, is to enjoy a cup of tea in the afternoon with something sweet.
Yeah, gotta have a treat.
Yep. Once in a while, gotta treat yourself.
Or more than once in a while.
Well, my father did have a cookie every afternoon.
Yeah, and ice cream, right? Not every day, but in the dining area, he would get ice cream usually.
Yep, for dinner.
Yeah.
Not for dinner, but after dinner.
Yeah. So, all right.
So we were talking about travel,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got a couple of big trips coming up this year.
Yeah. I'm excited. I love seeing a new place. I like being outside in a new place and doing activities like that. And just kind of like the feeling of being somewhere else. And obviously on vacation, you're like in a little bubble. It's very relaxing for me overall. So
Something else that you do with travel, I always like to travel with Kyle because she's really good at the logistics. It's like, I don't have to think about it.
Yep.
I love that. But you seem to be really good at the planning, the
Yep.
logistics of,
Yep.
I can remember even when, before we lived here, we were just kind of scouring the area, exploring, and Kyle pulls up on her phone, oh, this French market looks like it'd be fun to go to.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
the best place.
the gem of the area. It's like she just finds it.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, zooms right in.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I try not to over plan because it's good to have some spontaneity on a trip, but sometimes when you're going far away, maybe not to New Jersey, but in general far away, you want to do the best thing. So
Yeah.
I like to at least know what's available and then go from there.
Well, you have a good way of finding it.
Yeah.
And also just, the planning. I think that you do a good job with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, anything else then that you want to add?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my 2 main takeaways are habits and treat yourself.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Let's
All right.
eat or treat.
Okay. And stay tuned because maybe we'll share
Oh, yeah.
our little cooking experiment with you later. All right. Thanks for listening. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
All right. So the patient chef and the impatient chef is at work. So Kyle, do you want to tell everyone first of all, what we're making?
Yes. So we're making a bouillabaisse style chowder with seafood. So we were inspired by the ingredients we had on hand. Potatoes.
Starting with the potatoes.
Yeah, that's it, I guess. And then it's kind of rainy outside, so we wanted something cozy. And I wanted to have seafood. So that's how
Perfect.
we came to this recipe. And it's simple and easy. And we're just chopping up everything we need to start with. So that is celery, carrot, onion, good base, fennel, tomatoes. What else do we have? Garlic, potato,
Yep. And
corn.
Corn. And the seafood.
And
We're
seafood.
doing shrimp and scallops. And we got some, we'll put it in some broth.
Yep,
And I think that's it, right?
that's it. Throw it all in together.
All right. Sounds good. Oh, also a little vino. That goes into
Treats.